Yes, hello.
What's going on, Nate? Welcome to
Hey.
the stream. I'm so happy that OBS and Discord are working right now in unison so that we can
Yes.
have this fucking beautiful moment.
Yes, we can. Hello, everyone.
Hey, Nate! So already you can see the power of the community that you have built before the stream even set off. There was people already in there waiting, people that have never been to this stream before, waiting mainly for you.
Thank you. I love everyone. I love them all.
Oh, they love you too. No, ASCII art is when you make art out of your common symbols like, oh shit, that was crazy. That shit looked like some modern day hieroglyphics. I was literally like, oh no, a bot. But thankfully you typed something else. I was on the phone and my stream is so laggy, but hello, Nerd Daniel says, yikes, Wazowski. I hope you see the chat right now because it truly is beautiful how many people came out to see you.
I know. I appreciate them all.
Hey, happy Sunday. How are you doing today? Please do introduce yourself. Any pronouns that you would like to give off. For those that don't know you, it seems like a lot of people here do know you, but regardless, please do introduce yourself.
Yeah. Well, hi, everyone. Most of you do know me, like Xav said, but I'm Nate. I go by they, them. And just a little bit about me. Yeah, I'm a streamer. Haven't streamed for that long, but, you know, still doing it because I love it so much. I'm getting my master's right now, which is pretty cool. And other than that, I've just been really vibing today, done some homework, did some chores, made some dinner, so I'm feeling pretty good today, and I'm happy to be here. I'm really happy.
Hey, beautiful. And like you said, you haven't been streaming for that long. I feel like, once again, thanks to Yikes Wazowski for putting us in touch and for telling me about the stream so that I could go check you out. From there, so all Yikes did was tell me, look, I'm going to go support this stream. I was like, oh, what stream? I went there, and it was your natural energy and abilities to like play the games that you were playing, and you are so fucking funny that kept me there. So honestly, I gotta give the props.
Thank you. I can say the same about you. I always tell my community whenever you come in, you're like, have the most hype streams ever. Seriously, I love them.
Hey, and so you haven't been doing it for that long. Can you say like about what time you did start? Because you're off to an amazing role, like close to almost 400 followers.
Yeah, I'm like, I think like less than 20 with 400 followers, which is really weird to say out loud. I started streaming, I want to say, I think April of this year, if I remember, March or April. So yeah, it hasn't even been like close to a year yet. Well, I guess close to, since we're ending this year, but yeah, around March and April is when I started streaming.
Amazing. That's around the same time that I started streaming, and it's crazy the growth. So what did you do first? First off, you gotta talk about the gaming region. You gotta talk about the Discord, because that's where so many of these amazing people are coming. Buena suerte, Nate, te amo, says Danny Fry.
Yeah, I know who that is.
Hey, it's Hoopy sending love and good vibes. Hey, thank you for the good vibes. So like, as you see, you gotta talk about the gaming region. Is that something that you started before the stream, or how did that go?
I started that like as I started streaming. So I didn't start the Discord till I think like 2-ish weeks after like I already had like a good momentum on stream going. And I didn't expect it to turn in such to like a very like talkative and hangout place that it is right now. Like there's someone talking at least almost every single day. We're constantly adding new channels just to get people more, you know, involved in the community. And it just always brings a smile to my day just seeing everyone just come together and having a good time. And like the name for the gaming region, so I spent a long time like thinking like what I wanted to call it, because I felt like I needed like some sort of like name for my community. And me being gay, I was like, let's make a pun out of it. So for some reason the gaming region just like popped into my head one day, and I was like, this is perfect, we're gonna call it that, we're gonna name the Discord that, everything's gonna be so much fun. And it has been like such a blast, and we're constantly getting new people in it like every week, which is like insane, and it's a lot of fun.
That's fucking crazy. So you said it was a couple weeks after you started streaming because you waited for the momentum. How did you build the momentum on Twitch? Like how did you find it when you initially got in? Was it immediately like, are these people that you know from real life, or what is that like?
Yeah, so the first couple weeks were just people that I knew from real life coming in, which like I expected. I kind of feel like that's how most streamers start, just like having people that they know like come in and support them. But then as I started playing like Dead by Daylight, more people from like just that whole gaming community like came into my stream like after each like match, because you know I put twitch.tv in my username just so people can know who I am. And then I just started making like real life friends off of like that game, and that's why like I'm still constantly playing it, because it helped me build the community I have now. So I think once people started coming in slowly from that game, that's when the Memento
Famous movie Memento.
that's when it started to like speed up, and like I'm so thankful for like all the people that I met in that game because they helped me build my community. So that's like, yeah, I love
That's
it.
so wild. From that one game, you can never stop playing that game because the community just has such a special bond from it.
For sure, I love that game so much.
That's so cool. And was that what you were originally playing when you first started?
Yeah, so I didn't start getting into Dead by Daylight until this year, surprisingly, because I felt like that's a game I should have been playing this entire time. But I just always needed an excuse to start streaming, and I just couldn't figure it out. And once I started playing Dead by Daylight, I was like, you know what? I just want to play this like for everyone to see because I think it'd be a lot of fun. So I kind of just like took a chance and was like, fuck it, let's see how it goes. And then, as we can see, it's having a great positive impact on my life. So I enjoy it.
That's fucking amazing. That's really cool that you have that special connection to that game because it's built you so many like real friendships and whatnot. But you also do Words on Stream. I learned about Words on Stream from you. I love that game.
I do. Words on Stream. It's a lot of fun. One of my mods, her name is Vicky. She's the one that I think she's the one that told me about it because she's also watching like an abundance of other streamers and they play it. And I figured like it's a good way to like wait for games in between when I'm playing Dead by Daylight. And it's just a good way to get the stream going, have the stream end. Like, it's just relaxing. We always have a lot of fun. And there's always, like, competitions in my chat. It's, like, so you can get the most points. I'm thankful that, like, I got introduced to it. Because then it brings me closer to my community.
Hey, well, the Momobella said, Vicky is literally so good at words, I swear. Big shout out to Yikes Wazowski as well. Fucking forever goated at that.
Yes, my cousin and Vicky, like... She puts words that I don't even know existed, and I'm like, okay, that works. Yes, thank you for helping.
Always the big long ones. I'm like going for the 4-letter ones, and I just see fucking long ass. I'm like, oh damn, how did you think of that?
Yeah, but like the way she does it, she helps me too. Because when I go into other streamers and I put the big words, they're like, how did you do that? And I'm like, honestly, I don't even know.
I'm learning from the greats.
Exactly, I'm learning from Rowan, and I'm learning from Vicky.
Hey, Yikes Wazowski says, I love words. Momobella said, so much love to you, legend. So what has been like the balance between finding time to stream, because you said you're a master's student at the beginning, and I imagine that's a lot of time that's taken away to that. You did move recently, so how has it been finding like a balance to remain on Twitch while also still taking care of things in your life?
Yeah, it's been hard. Like you said, I moved from California to Ohio, so I'm 2,000 miles away from home, which is like still shocking to this day. But it's been hard to try to just find like a solid stream schedule. Like yesterday in my like planner, I put figure out a stream schedule, and I just can't do it because my weeks are constantly changing. It depends on if I have meetings, how much homework I need to get done. So I try my best. Like if I even get like 2 hours of free time at night, I just want to get on and stream. But then those 2 hours of free time suddenly turn into a late dinner, or it suddenly turns into like a late night study session with my friends, and it's just like, I want to get behind the screen because like when I look at my VODs, they're like a week apart, like 12 days apart, and I'm like, I used to stream like 3 to 4 times a week, and now I'm barely streaming like at least once every 2 weeks. So I'm starting to like find my level for it now, and hoping that I can get like more back into it. But I know that whenever I do get the chance to stream, like I sit down, I turn on the camera, and I just have fun for the time that I'm able to actually be on stream.
Yeah, that's awesome. So do you do any gaming like offline, like off stream, or is it really just the gaming that we see is what you do?
I definitely do a lot of gaming offline. Mostly it's just Dead by Daylight. That's all I play. But like the main reason why I do play like Dead by Daylight offline too is just so like I can have more entertainment when I'm like playing online. So like I have more abilities and things like that. But usually like my gaming takes place from like 12 a.m. to like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. And like granted I could stream in that time, but like I don't want to wake up like my roommates. But I am constantly like gaming off stream because that's how I like decompress and get away from all my responsibilities.
For sure. There's been times where I'm like, well, I'm supposed to be streaming tonight, but I honestly would rather just play this game without the camera on and without having to like turn it into a whole performance. Because like I do try and bring like a lot of energy, like you said at the beginning, to every, people come here, and I hope that they want to see like the energy. But sometimes I'm just like, damn, I would like to sit on this game and literally just like not do shit, like just be fucking in my couch, just like playing with the controller and not talking.
That's exactly how I feel. Like I'll sit here and then I'll just be playing. I'm like, I could stream right now, but like I just want to be by myself. I just want to be like content. I don't want to force myself to be energetic because then like the stream won't turn out well and things like that. So, but yeah, I totally get what you mean.
For sure, and you always need breaks. Always take breaks.
Sure. Yes.
Would you say you're an introverted or extroverted person?
Oh, definitely an extroverted person. I start like being introverted sometimes. It just depends on my mood, but most of the time, like I will just be like this outgoing individual. And like if you've seen some of my VODs or if you've even come to my streams, like you've noticed that like I'm just outgoing. I don't care. I have no filter, and I'll just like have a blast. And I feel like a lot of people like that about me, but sometimes my extroverted self can get like very annoying, which it can at times. I won't deny that. But it's just, I like being like just fun and charismatic and just like out there, because then I create like a positive, welcoming environment.
Yes, and that's what we need. We need more people like that.
For sure.
So you started streaming around April of this year, which leaves like basically like a whole year left of pandemic from 2020. Was that tough for you, that beginning part of the pandemic where like as an extroverted person, like you now have to be inside, and if you live with your family, that's all the people you're going to see right now. And at that time you weren't really streaming. So what was that like? Not, it's 2020, it's a year ago now, but like just because I didn't know you at that time.
No, yeah. I would say it was kind of hard for me because like I am a people person, and like yes, like I saw like my friends on Zoom during class, and like I like talk to my best friend like almost every day over FaceTime. But for me, like I need like physical interaction. Like I need to like go somewhere with someone just to have fun. So the beginning of the pandemic was really hard for me because it's like, oh, I want to go do this thing with my friend, but I really can't because like I can't go out right now. I don't want to risk like me getting COVID or anyone else getting COVID. And I wasn't really with my family throughout the whole pandemic. I was living with my ex-boyfriend at the time. So like I guess that kind of helped because I feel like some people felt trapped with their families, and luckily, at least for me, I didn't have to feel trapped with my family. I still like kept in contact with them, make sure they were like okay and safe and all that jazz. But I will say the pandemic was really, really, really tough when it came to like making sure I maintained my extroverted self and maintain those like interactions that I really desperately need because I'm just a people person.
Hey, were you creating any type of content before Twitch? Were you doing anything like on YouTube?
I actually like I just recently put all my YouTube videos on private. So
oh no!
One can watch those.
No! I wish I went searching for them before that.
Absolutely not. But
what were you making?
It was just like fun, stupid videos, I like, for some reason, everyone always told me like, oh, Nate, you should be a YouTuber. And I was like, fuck it, we'll give it a try. I didn't have like as great success as I'm having on Twitch, but like that was kind of a way for me to have a creative outlet. And like before the pandemic started, I hadn't posted for like 4 or 5 months. And then once the pandemic started, I needed to entertain myself with something new. I decided to get back into it. But then once I started, streaming, I didn't really get back into it, and then someone in my Discord brought up my YouTube videos and like sent one in there, so I deleted that message and then I went and privated all my videos so no one can see how embarrassing they are.
What was it, vlogs?
Like some of them were vlogs, some of them I remember I had this series like I was dancing and just doing something like stupid, so I was like dancing and doing homework and dancing and doing chores, and some of them were just skits, and it was like it was just so embarrassing. Oh my god.
Do you have TikTok?
I have TikTok, yes. I make TikTok videos.
It sounds like that's like the type of content that would do very well on TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok I post when I can. There's that, again, like when the pandemic first started, like I was constantly posting on TikTok, and now that I'm like in like this new area of my life, I'm not really as active on TikTok as I am. I did post one today. It was just like a fun little one. But I like TikTok is like for my creative outlet juices, like just from some days when they're just like flowing, I'm like, ooh, okay, let's do something with it. And I'll just get on TikTok, find a random sound, post a video, and there we go. And I've actually had 2 TikToks blow up, which has been really, really like cool. Hey. Yeah. So that's been pretty cool.
That's amazing. What do you think it is? Like, so, because you said you didn't find as much success on YouTube as you have on Twitch. You have 2 videos that do very well on TikTok. So what do you think it is about each platform and the type of content that you're making?
I think honestly it's just like just like an algorithm based type of thing, and it's all like based off of luck. YouTube, I feel like it's kind of harder on YouTube to like get seen because there's just like so many people on there. Granted, there's so many other people on so many other like social media platforms, but I feel like YouTube, if you don't have like that solidified start already, or like if you're not famous on some other social media platform, then you're probably not gonna see as much success on YouTube. But for TikTok, I just feel like anyone on there could become an overnight sensation and they wouldn't even realize it. Like for my first TikTok that blew up, it got like over like 150,000 likes, which I'm like still astonished by to this day. I'm like,
amazing.
wow.
What was it?
It was so.
We need to. Can we pull this up?
It actually got deleted because it was a duet, and the person who I duetted, his video got deleted because it violated community guidelines on TikTok. So then mine got deleted as well. But it was a very political TikTok, and he was it was like MAIA, so like referencing MAGA, Make America Great Again. And his was make abortions illegal again. So then I did my own MAIA, and it was like men shouldn't be allowed to put input about a woman's body.
Wait, that's just all the letters.
Yeah, it was MAI. Well, I did it like the start of each.
Oh,
one.
you actually did it.
Yeah.
I thought it was still the same acronym, but you just fucking put whatever you wanted on it.
But like that, like. So usually on TikTok, like I usually get like 20, 50 likes each video, which is like common. And then like the next day I woke up and there was like 1,000 likes, and I was like, what is going on? And then as the day kept going, I just like every like 5 seconds 100 likes would come in, and I'm like, is this what it feels like to be an overnight sensation?
Did you go into the comments? Like usually when it's a political TikTok like that, man, it's fucking toxic.
So yeah, it was some people commented like stupid shit. Like there's always gonna be people commenting stupid shit, especially about a subject such as that.
Exactly.
But there was just like a lot of funny like supportive comments too, so it was nice. And like I'm not the type of person, if I see like a hate comment like on TikTok, like I'm not the type of person to delete it. I'll just ignore it. Like I'm not gonna let some random stranger on the internet like bring me down. Like there's no use in like giving them the time that like they're so desperately craving. So
I don't get it. Like, so I've created content for a while, but like with Twitch and gaming, there's something about it where people just get so competitive for no reason. Like I posted some video, and somebody on there was just like, you're bad at whatever game I was playing, and I was just like, I never claimed to be good at it. Like I don't know why you had to go out of your way to do that. And then someone else was like, this seems like fake acting, and I was like, what, like being energetic? Like I don't know, I'm like this every stream. I really don't know what you're saying, but it's just so weird to me when people like actually take the time to like, sometimes I'm not gonna lie, I used to go onto Facebook a lot, and I would see comments like on politics and stuff, and I would type out the whole long message and whatnot, like furiously going in, veins bulging out of my neck, like but then I would hit backspace and I would delete it all and keep scrolling.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I see, especially like back to like the gaming thing that you're talking about. Like at least because like all I play is Dead by Daylight, so sorry if anyone gets annoyed by me mentioning it so much, but like some people do take that game like very, very seriously at times, and I'm like calm down. Like the only time I take it seriously if the killer is being like, you know, like unfair like individual, like that's the only time like I'll probably like go off. I don't necessarily go off when I'm on stream, but when I'm not streaming, I like go off. Like I just like it's really toxic. But I've seen that like in just multiple games, just people like get too competitive for no reason. I'm like,
so
okay,
competitive.
It's not that. I get it. Like some of these games are like seen through a competitive lens, so like if you are playing competitively, then I understand. But if you're just playing just to like have some fun, or you're just hopping into some like PvP games, like calm down. Like it's not that deep, I promise. It's just a game. Like
just play another round.
Yeah, even when I get mad at like after I'm done getting mad, I'm like, you know what, it's just a game, it's not that deep. I'm gonna move on to the next round, and we're just gonna have a good time.
That's it. Momo Bella said the killer's listening to Kids Bop. Kids Bop 45.
Oh god, that thing still exists, and I'm very surprised.
You remember those? The Now This?
Yes.
Whatever it was?
I was just in Target with my roommate and my friend yesterday, and I saw Now This like 94 or whatever. I'm like, holy Jesus Christ.
Oh my god. They're still going. That's crazy. You did mention you were gay. If you don't mind asking, if you don't mind telling me about like the experience coming out and what that was like for you.
Yeah, so the way I came out, I always gonna keep that private, so that I'm not gonna say. But I came out, I came out of high school, I think sophomore year, junior year, one of those two. So that's when I came out as gay. Just a year ago, I came out as non-binary. So I've had two coming outs in my lifetime. That's actually the non-binary flag behind me. Fun fact.
Oh, I've never seen that.
Yeah, it's yellow, white, purple, and black. But yeah, so that experience for me, it was kind of funny because I came out. Most people are just like, yeah, I knew, because I feel like it's easy to know, at least for me. And I've been lucky enough to gain so much support from just like all my support systems, friends, loved ones. And it's been awesome because I know not a lot of people in the LGBTQ plus community is met with so much support and love and care. So I really consider myself lucky every single day for the amount of just support. And I've said support so many times, but like that's all I can think of. It's just I've gained so much support from my family and everyone, and it's been really, really cool.
That's awesome. And yeah, you say it many times, but like that really is just the word that you're looking for. I feel like at that time is just literally support and understanding. And was it ever a time where you didn't feel support? Was there ever a time where you felt like not supported in your decisions?
Not really, no. I think that just for me personally, like I didn't feel like I was supporting myself enough to come out. Because I did like keep it like under wraps, at least for me. I guess not to other people since it was very, very obvious. But I did keep it under wraps. So there wasn't like a lot of self-support, which I feel like there should have been, because I knew everyone around me was gonna give me so much love, and like the only support obviously had just been from randos like in high school and random people on the internet. So like I don't really care about them, like I don't really need them. But when it comes to my close ones, I can't really think of anything like negative. I could think of them like being scared of my decision to come out because they just don't want me to get hurt, they don't want me to get abused in any sort of fashion. But at the end of the day, like they still love me for who I am, and they're not gonna not love me and not gonna not support me in like all my decisions.
That's awesome. And what was like, so you said sophomore year of high school, were there a lot of other people that had come out by that point in high school?
Not really, no. I was actually thinking about that the other day, and that like I think I was one of like 5 kids who were out in my high school. And that just like feels so weird to say. It's just, I can remember like maybe like 4 others. Like I said, like I was probably like just the 5th one. And I know I was kind of scared because of that, because like there wasn't a lot of people out in my high school. So to me, I was like, oh, should I even do this? Like, should I even make it known? Because like how are people going to react? And granted, I really shouldn't have thought about other people's reactions besides like my friends. And obviously if they didn't support me, then they weren't going to be my friends anymore.
They're not friends.
But it was weird. And like I said, I was lucky enough because I didn't really get a lot of hate in high school for my sexuality. There were like a couple straight men who used the F derogatory term. I won't say it. I mean, I can't say it, but I'm not going to say it. And like, they would try to use that word to bring me down, and they wouldn't say it to me, they would say it behind my back. And I'm like, obviously you're scared to say it to my face because you're going to continue saying it behind my back. So I'm not even going to be worried about you and your
petty high school shit.
But yeah, really a lot of petty fucking high school shit. But it was only from like a group of like 2 to 3 like guys, and like there was like just a lot of other straight guys too who were very, very nice and like didn't really think of me in a different lens. I will say a lot of my friends' boyfriends at the time always thought that like I was gonna steal their girlfriends away, and like they even thought that after I came out, and I was like, I don't think you understand how the sexuality works.
Yeah, what?
Like, I'm not gonna steal your girlfriend away.
I don't understand that after you come out, why they would still like.
It was just some jealous, petty high school shit, because like their girlfriends would spend more time with me, or they would disclose more information with me and things like that. So they like. God,
I feel like it's because
stupid.
Girls like having a gay best friend.
For sure, I know a lot of girls like that, which kind of can be problematic at times because they kind of just like, I guess, like window shop through gay people. I feel like a lot of girls do that. But like it's nice that like I feel like the girls had like a boyfriend who, well, when I was a boy at that time, who wasn't gonna like hit on them or like want anything sexual from them. Like they probably just want like an emotional friend who will be there for them and talk to them and like just like listen to everything that they have to say.
Oh yeah, I knew plenty of girls that would love to go to gay bars simply because it was like a place where they could feel like safe and not
Oh, for sure.
like fucking gonna have just men constantly hitting on them and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Or just like grinding up on them while like coming out of nowhere from behind them.
Yeah.
Jeremish, thank you so much for coming through, by the way. Thank you for the sub. Big thank you. Jeremish, man, I remember when my older sister came out in high school, had me standing up to 12th graders when I was in grade 9. LOL. It's because they stopped being their friends after it's because they stopped being their friends after becoming boyfriend. Shit, a lot of this chat usually comes in late, so I forget what it's tied to, what you originally said. But thank you for telling us that story, Jeremish. And yeah, like I feel like it's really good now to have so much just open representation and being able to be like, hey, I watched like my favorite streamer is gay, or my favorite streamer is non-binary.
Yeah.
Because then it's just like easier to relate to and be able to explain to like family members that maybe don't understand.
No, for sure. And that's like kind of one of the main reasons why I still try to make sure that I'm still streaming, just to like have like representation out there, especially for the non-binary aspect of my identity. Because during International Non-Binary Day, I wanted to stream. I wanted to raid a non-binary streamer. So I went through the tag, and there was maybe like 15 to 20 other streamers on there. So I don't know if just like a lot of people just don't use that tag, they don't know it's there. But just seeing like 15 to 20 streamers, I'm like, I should make sure I always have this tag, or I need to make sure that I'm on Twitch as long as I can be, because I want to be that representation that most people like, that you don't normally see on like gaming platforms and things like that.
For sure. And it sucks because like from what I've heard, a lot of those hate raids target those tags, and maybe that's why some people might be scared to use the tags, because they don't want to get targeted like that.
I was very lucky that I wasn't really streaming as much when the hate raids were starting. I don't know if any of my friends got hate raided, but I know like a week after the hate raids were like a big thing, I was like, oh my god, I forgot to put the LGBTQ plus tag on my stream. And I was typing it up during the stream, and one of my viewers was like, that's probably not a good idea because the hate raids. I was like, oh shit, you're right, which sucks, because it's like a lot of my viewers have come from like the tags on my streams, and they're like, yeah, hey, I was scrolling through this tag and I saw you and I thought you were interesting. And now it's like, okay, so do I put that tag on to meet cool people, or do I put that and risk, you know, getting hate rated, or do I just like leave it all together and hope that people will find me in some sort of other fashion, you know?
Yeah, I'm hoping it's cooled down. I never got hate rated, but I got like those follower bots that literally follow you as soon as you start streaming, like Haas or whatever the fuck the bot
I got one of those. I just banned it like last week.
Exactly, yeah. So I've never gotten that, but it does suck when you then have to like actually be careful about using a tag.
Yeah.
So Sundere-chan asks, Nate, where is your family from? Do you think that coming out is easier in the U.S. than in Latin countries?
Oh, that's a great question. That's a great question. Okay, if I remember correctly, my family's like from a lot of different Latin countries, honestly, so I can't like really pinpoint one. So I'm gonna answer. That's the answer to the first question.
So all over.
Yeah, all over. Love my Latinx side of my family, because they just like have so much representation. So I love it, really, really do. Do I think coming out is easier in the U.S. than in Latin countries? I don't know.
I guess it's one of those things where you only have the perspective of someone who's coming out.
Yeah,
here.
for sure. I've only had the perspective of that. I would say that like obviously in Latin cultures, like family is everything. But I read like a lot of like different studies and like articles and stuff on people coming out in Latin countries, and I can see from at least studies and from personal experience that it probably is a lot easier to come out in the U.S. than in Latin countries, because I feel like for like Latinx culture, like in a way things are kind of shaped up for you. So like if you're a man, you're gonna marry a woman. If you're a woman, you're gonna marry a man. Things like that, vice versa. So I feel like a lot of people, at least from what I've read and seen, that they're just really scared to come out because they don't want to feel like they're disappointing their family in any single way.
Yeah, there's a lot of social conservatism that comes with like Latin America, you know, machismo and patriarchal societal roles and whatnot. So I imagine that it's definitely tougher, but you have to have like both perspectives, I feel like, coming at, you know, to really be able to compare it, or to have, if we could have somebody on the stream who could probably just talk about their experience. But at the same time, every experience is going to be different, because you said your family was very supportive, which is something that sometimes you don't have.
Yeah, and I think the reason why my family was so supportive, being like how we're a big Latinx culture is that there are like other like LGBTQ plus members in my family that aren't me, and they've like come out way before I did. So I feel like that really did help in like them like supporting me and welcoming me and like not like disowning me as a family member. But like I said, it's all based on luck, and I guess I just got like the higher end of the luck stick because it's been nothing but love and support.
I interviewed someone who said that their family like disowned her when they did come out and whatnot, and it's really just, it all depends on how your family members their upbringings are and what their like what beliefs that they hold on to. But could you discuss your decision to come out as non-binary, because that one seems like it was more recent?
Yeah, so that one was more recent, and I guess that's one is where like the less amount of support came through. So it was just a little over a year ago, which is insane. It doesn't feel like it's been like a year. I like in the pandemic, I felt like a lot of people like came out with like a new like gender identity or sexuality identity. And I just found myself like thinking like, I really don't feel like a man, but I don't feel like a woman, but like I couldn't really like pinpoint like what like I wanted to be, because I obviously didn't hear about the non-binary identity until last year. But I always found myself on like TikTok like scrolling through and just seeing like men dress very feminine and women dressing very masculine, and just like the non-binary identity started popping up more. And I was in a sociology class and we were learning about the non-binary identity, and reading those articles and looking back on TikTok, I'm like, I feel like this is like what I want to be. Like I feel like this is how I best represent my gender identity. And I thought about it for a while, and then if I remember correctly, I texted my best friend, and I actually texted Yikes, and I was like, hey, so I think I'm this. Like, I think this is who I am. And they obviously gave me so much support, my best friend and Yikes, and I love them so much for it. But like, I felt like there was more research to have to be done for my gender identity than my sexuality identity, and that's just because I didn't know much about it. But like I said, as I kept reading up on it and looking more into it, I was like, this is what it feels like. This is me. Like, I don't want to be a man, I don't want to be a woman, I don't want to be classified as either. I just want to be Nate and not have a gender identity and dress how I want, act how I want, and just be me.
Do you feel like knowing about the term and about all this information that you now have, all this knowledge that you have now, if you had known that at a younger stage of your life, would that have helped you in any ways?
In a way, I want to say yes, because I always just felt like I wasn't your like typical male, because I am like more feminine than most people, which is totally fine. Like, men can be feminine if they want to. If that's how they want to express themselves, it's how they want to express themselves. But at a younger age, I just always found myself just like, I don't know, just not feeling like a boy one day, or not feeling like a man one day. And I feel like if I would have known about this identity sooner, then I would have probably came out as non-binary the same time I came out as gay, just obviously get everything done in one go. But knowing now that I am, like, it has helped a lot. I'm glad that I know now than like later down the line if I'm like still confused about who I am and what I identify as. But yeah.
Hell yeah. I remember having one class in health, and I think I was in maybe 9th grade, and they explained the difference between gender and sex. And even then, it was like one class that they held in the most random part of the year, and then they never discussed it again, and that was about it. That was about all the education we got on that.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed in high school, or just any sort of education. And I just feel like a lot of people don't know the difference between sex and gender, because those are two different categories of identity. But I just feel like the school system fails people on that. And I just feel like when like I've had to try to like educate people on like the differences of sexual identity and gender identity, and like they still don't get it. But I feel like if we teach that to people when they're younger, then as they grow older they'll get a clearer mindset about it. But yeah.
Yeah, no, and I'm glad that now Gen Z and other generations moving forward are gonna at least have these discussions.
Oh yeah,
because we didn't even have them. Like, we're not even like explained any of this, which is why I feel like so many people are ignorant to it, and then so many people are just so hesitant to like change their beliefs. And it sucks, because it's like, if we had this at a younger age and we had more knowledge and we were being explained, like, it would have just helped so much.
For sure.
Momo Bella, thank you so much for coming. The discussion is hitting a little too hard. Gonna be right back. Thank you so much. Take all the time you need. Tundeta Chan, thank you for being here. Jeremish, our land country is usually very Christian. Yeah, Christianity definitely plays a huge role, and that definitely is like a big part of it. Now, Nate, speaking about your family, you said that they're the Latinx side. They're from all over.
Yeah.
What do you identify when it comes to nationality, ethnicity? First off, so the census came off pretty recently. What do you mark off when it comes to like the census? Like Latino, correct? That's what
so like obviously like for some reason like we're not in like the first part, so you always have to put other, and then the second part then you put like Latinx. So that's what I do.
Do you put other? I've been putting white for so long because I look at the other choices and I'm like, I'm not black, I'm not Asian, I'm not Pacific Islander, and I go through them and I'm like, I guess this leaves me with this.
Yeah, so when I was like younger and filling out like, like hospital forms or whatever, or like a school form, I would put white. But growing up now, I'm like, that's not my identity. So like, I'm like, let's just put other, because like, for some reason they just don't want to put us on the first part. They just want to put us on the second part. But yeah, I used to put white, but I put other.
So other Latinx is what you describe yourself as. Has that had an influence in your life? I think you grew up in California, right? So I think that's like a very big demographic out there.
Yeah, very big demographic. But yeah, I grew up in California. I feel like I grew up in like two different cities. So I primarily lived in Manteca, California, but I also had family in Tracy, California. Manteca, California was kind of more white dominated, and Tracy, California, at least the part that I like lived in, was very Latinx dominated. So I feel like I like experienced two different cultures growing up.
Could you talk about that? Like, what was it? What do you feel like you learned more about?
I feel like I learned more about myself, like coming home from like Tracy to Manteca, like learning like what makes me different, what makes me special. And I feel like too, like in a white dominated place, like it's a very individualistic type of culture, and in a Latinx place it's more collectivistic. So I've had to like learn how to like go between both, but also like bring my own culture to the white dominated city that I lived in, just for like more diversity, and just to like be like, I guess like more special, and show like, hey, there's more than this one set identity in this area. So let me bring over what I'm learning in this one area to this one, and make it more diverse, make it more welcoming, and things like that.
Did you are you first generation born here?
Yes.
First generation born. So does that ever bring any like expectations for you? Like, you have to go to college. You're first generation born here, and your family moved here to give you more opportunities. So
you mean first generation like in school, or?
So when I say first generation, it's like you were the first generation to be born in the United States. Like your family before that had lived in like another country.
Oh, I'm pretty sure. Yes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we are.
So I think a good way to say, yes. Were your parents born here?
My mom was, my dad wasn't.
Okay. So it's like half and half.
Yeah, half and half. I'm just everything.
That's fucking cool, because then there's so much more to learn about. Yeah. Do you feel like you learned a lot about your Latinx heritage growing up?
Unfortunately, no, and that's what sucks. So growing up, I come from a divorced family. So I didn't really learn like a lot about my Latinx culture, and I always blame my dad for like me not knowing like a lot of Spanish. Like I always tell him like, it's your fault that I don't know like a lick of Spanish. So it was hard, because like I hate not being like fully immersed into my culture. I'm more immersed than I was when I was at a younger age, but I wish like I learned more Spanish, or I wish that like my like grandparents and my dad would just sit down and tell me more about like their experiences outside of this country. And just God, I wish when I was younger, like my Latinx side of the family like took more time to like teach me about our culture and what we stand for and things like that.
Thank you so much for the follow, Danny. They said they are super proud of you, Nate. Thank you. And Jeremish says you can still learn. Yikes says half of our uncles born here, other half in Mexico. That's tough. And
hey, listen to them. They know what they're saying.
I have a few cousins as well who don't speak any Spanish. They are father side Mexican, from my family side Dominican. but they don't speak any Spanish. And a lot of people like in my family sometimes give them like kind of a hard time for it. But it's really not their fault. It's about the parents, like how they need a teacher. You need a teacher to learn that at a young age. And, you know, they each have their own reasons why they didn't learn Spanish as much.
Yeah, and I think, too, is, like, growing up, like I said, I come from a divorced family. I was more so not with my Latinx side. So I was more so with my mom, who was born here. And then my dad, who wasn't born here. So I feel like that kind of, like, played into it, too. Like, I wasn't really exposed to my culture as much as I should have been. And like I said, I would just forever blame my parents because it's like I wish I knew more about this. And yeah, I can still learn, and I am still learning. And like though I may not like speak Spanish, I'm now starting to understand like what people are saying by context clues, which is really helpful.
Yes. Is it ever frustrating for you being at like a family gathering where people are just speaking a lot of Spanish?
Kind of. I feel like Mexicans, at least my family, like do this weird thing too. Like, well, they'll start a sentence out in English and then slowly move into Spanish. And like in the beginning, like I'm understanding, and then when they move to Spanish, I'm like, where is this conversation going? So I wouldn't say I get frustrated. I just get confused. And like I like hang out with Yikes a lot when we're like together at a family function, and like the both of us don't speak that much Spanish, so it's mostly us like talking to each other. But I hate that I get confused because I want to be involved in these conversations, and like especially with my grandparents who like barely speak English, like I kind of feel like it's hard to communicate with them because I can't really say things besides hello and goodbye and I love you and things like that.
Yeah. Danny says, I did 3 years of Spanish, love the language. It is an amazing language.
It is beautiful.
I remember going to Dominican Republic once when I was way younger. I was 12. I did not really speak that much Spanish, and I definitely remember being frustrated at like parties because like it turned into like people kind of making jokes about how I wasn't how I was the gringo, I was from the United States and I didn't really speak Spanish, and it was kind of just like, oh motherfuckers, like I'm trying.
You get that, and in a way it's kind of like you're like having culture shock in your own culture, so it's like this isn't supposed to happen. Like I'm supposed to have culture shocks in other cultures, but now I'm here like what are you saying? What do you want me to do? What? You know?
And even now, I'll hang out with my wife and her friends who speak primarily in Spanish because that's their first language. And I like, I'm way more quiet than I usually am. Like last night, we hung out with someone who spoke English and Spanish. And when it's time to speak Spanish, I'm just like, déjame 1 second. Like, because I got to think about the words before I really say them. Whereas in English, they kind of just flow out naturally. I got to actually think, like, what am I about to say next?
Yeah, and you kind of have to watch yourself. So, like, because if you slip up, then like they'll call you out on it, and then you're like, shit. Well, fuck, I don't know what to do now.
Yikes says, especially our grandma, it's so hard talking to her sometimes.
It really is.
said, nah, that's not true. XAVE being quiet, what? It happens? Your Spanish is so good. So what I was telling you earlier is my Spanish is much better now because I speak a lot of Spanish with Sundere-chan, but the problem is that I can't speak about like deep things. Like I wouldn't be able to hold a whole interview in Spanish. Sundere-chan has been trying to get me to interview people in Spanish for so long, and I'm just like, I'm gonna fucking sound dumb. Like I'm gonna sound dumb.
So and I feel like when I'm with my family members who speak Spanish, so I'm really close with my aunt. And usually when she's talking to my grandma in Spanish, not my great grandma, my grandma also speaks English, so I can talk to her easily. But when she's having a conversation with my aunt, I always have to ask my aunt, like, what the hell are y'all talking about? Because I didn't understand a lick of what they say, of what y'all are saying. And then like my aunt is always telling me like what they're saying. So I kind of glad like I have her like as a translator. Because then like sometimes like it'll be like something like about the family, so like there's like tea involved, so then my aunt will tell me, so I'm like, cool, that's great, I love learning about all of it. But it's just I think being more now immersed into my like Latinx culture, I can like just kind of piece together what people are saying, or at least like if they're asking me to do something, I'm like, I think you said that, so I'm gonna do it, and if it's wrong, then I hope you correct me, and if not, then I'm just gonna keep doing it.
That's good though that you're trying to learn. When people first meet you, do they assume that you are Latinx?
I think not. Maybe, I don't know. I really haven't had like someone like judge me on that, the first thing people like judge on me is like my sexuality. But I would assume probably yes, because my skin is more like my skin is tan, not right now because the light
Camera
structure
lights.
that I have right now. But I feel like most people do approach me speaking more English than Spanish. I don't think I've ever had anyone like try to talk to me in Spanish before. But I have noticed when I'm like, oh yeah, like I am Mexican or I'm Latinx, or like, oh, you are? That's interesting. And I'm like, can you explain what you mean by like that's interesting? Like why did
it's
you
like
say
there's
it in
like a
that tone?
preconceived
Like,
notion of
like,
what
what's
a
going
Mexican
on?
is gonna look like, I feel.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Oh, I feel like certain people have like a preconceived notion of what a Latinx person is supposed to look like, or what a Mexican person is supposed to look like. And when you don't fit that like image description in their head, they're just like, what the fuck?
Well, that, and then when I'm like, yeah, I'm Mexican, but like I can't speak Spanish, and like, well, then you're not Mexican. And I'm like, well, fuck, yeah, I guess I'm not Mexican anymore.
Man.
Sorry.
Does that shit sucks. Does that hurt when you hear that?
It does hurt because in a way it feels like I'm like disappointing my own culture, but like at the end of the day, like no, like I know I'm Mexican, like this is like where I come from, this is my heritage, like. But when people like say that to me, they're kind of like invalidating like my identity in a way, and I'm kind of like, that hurts, because I would never go up to like a white person and be like, oh, you don't eat hamburgers on a Sunday after church, then you're not white, or whatever fucking stereotype you want to create. Oh, sorry for the cussing, so sorry.
No, I've been cursing this whole time.
But it does hurt when I'm like, oh yeah, I don't speak Spanish, or like when I'm like, yeah, I don't really like spicy foods, because I promise I really don't like spicy foods. Like you can ask Rowan, yikes, I hate spicy food. But when I say that, like even my stepdad's like, how can you be a Mexican and not like spicy food? I'm like, because I'm a Mexican who doesn't like spicy food. Not every Mexican likes spicy food. I don't know why you're trying to throw the stereotype on me, but okay, go off, I guess.
Hold on, let's read some of these comments. Because I got a lot to say about that. Yeah, Sundari-chan, your English is great. I don't know what you're saying. Your English is excellent. But so Sundari-chan says basically when she's with like friends that speak primarily English, she feels like what we feel like when it's primarily Spanish. Like it's just when it's not your native language, you just feel kind of uncomfortable. It's Hoopy. I got a C in Spanish high school. Spanish high school, they taught Spain Spanish. So like even I had some trouble with it because at home I would be learning like the way that Dominicans speak, and then at school it was like completely different. So I actually didn't really like Spanish in high school.
Yeah, Spanish in high school for me. So I took Spanish 1 and Spanish 2. Spanish 1 was taught by someone of Latinx descent, so it's nice. So my Spanish 2 was taught by a white man. So
a white man who knew Spanish?
Yes, but he taught through YouTube videos. So
wait. This is through the school system?
Yeah.
So he would put YouTube videos up and be like, "Vamos al baño."
Pretty much. And they'd be like the stupid like school videos that like teachers put on, but like we like watch the videos, read a chapter, do homework, and then take a test at the end of the week, and like that was just on a weekly basis. And like I went from like learning so much about the Spanish language and like getting it in and like learning how to say things to like being taught by a white man who used YouTube videos and who just sat down the whole time, and I'm like,
I can't believe he was getting paid for that.
Yeah, and looking back on it, I was like, that's a horrible way to fucking teach your students how to speak Spanish.
Seriously.
And like it sucks because like I went from maybe like almost knowing how to say things and hoping to like expand on that to like going right back to square one and like losing like all interest and motivation to like speak Spanish, and fucking suck.
That shit sucks. Having one bad teacher will kill your motivation for life. You'll be like,
you'll
only relate that subject. You'll relate that subject to that teacher forever and be like, fuck that subject.
Yes.
Yike says, the way I've had random people approach me speaking Spanish and I look more white than Nate.
They do.
So that means that they assume that you speak Spanish, right? From like just approaching you. That's tough, because then when you don't speak the Spanish, you're like,
Yeah, because I'm like, yep.
Yeah. See? This is very relatable.
In a way, though, I kind of feel bad to people who approach me speaking Spanish, because, like, they feel, like, some people feel guilty. They're like, oh, shit, I'm so sorry. And, like, if you genuinely feel, like, sorry, then I'm like, no, like, it's totally okay. Like, you just made a mistake. But if you just pass it off like it didn't happen, then like I at least want you to acknowledge that you made the mistake, because then it doesn't make it awkward for both people. And like people, when people approach me and talk Spanish, I'm like, sorry, but I don't speak Spanish. And I can notice that they get like embarrassed. I'm like, but it's fine. I like, it's okay. Like we can
It's
still have a
okay.
conversation. Like I promise, like it's okay. But
People
people
start
who
getting
are
awkward.
like, yeah, people who are like, oh, my bad, and like leave it at that. I'm like, cool, all right,
Well,
awesome.
you didn't really. It's
Like
almost
you don't
like,
care.
yeah, exactly. It's like they don't really give a shit. They're just like, oh, I guess I gotta say sorry now.
Yeah.
In high school, they usually teach you Spanish from Spain, like vosotros and stuff. The Spanish that I remember was very different from the Spanish I was learning at home. I remember it felt like it was Spain Spanish.
Yes.
I do that yo no hablo real fast. Yo no hablo.
Yes,
Yo no-
I feel that. I feel like the Spanish I learned in high school was very generalized, and then the Spanish that like I would hear like at my grandma's house was very different, and I'd just be like, I don't know, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I've learned two different types of Spanishes, and I can't handle this.
That shit'll confuse you. That shit'll really confuse you.
It really does confuse me, but I will, you know, at the end of the day, I'm just gonna blame my dad for not teaching me, and I'm gonna blame the white man who tried to teach me Spanish too in high school.
Yeah. I saw some trending on TikTok a while ago, something about the no sabo kids. That became like a kind of like a derogatory term for people that are Latinx but don't speak Spanish, the no sabo kids. And it was so interesting to me. I had never heard about it before either. And I was like, people are shaming others for this shit online? Like, it really blew my mind, the type of shit that people would shame others for.
Yeah, I feel like I get that a lot. Like I said, like how my stepdad was like, oh, you don't like spicy food, how can you be Spanish? Or people are like, oh, you don't speak Spanish, how can you be Spanish or Latinx? And I'm like, just because I don't do this one thing doesn't mean that I don't identify at this one thing. Thank you, though. I appreciate that.
Straight
Fuckers.
up. Yeah. Tsundere-chan, like a lot of people, so she's Colombian, but a lot of people assume that all Latinx people eat spicy food. Like, no matter what country you're from, she does not eat spicy foods, does not like it. Nobody near lurking. Hey, thank you so much for coming through. But, yeah, I feel like the being Mexican and eating spicy is such a like thing that goes hand in hand. So my uncle is Mexican, and he puts spicy on everything, like rice, fucking plátanos, everything. Like it's crazy how much spicy he eats.
Yeah.
But you know, not everybody like has to do that, and that isn't what solely makes you Mexican.
It isn't, and like I hate that people like base like that one thing off of it, because then at the end of the day, like I said earlier, like it just makes me feel like I'm disappointing my own culture. But like I can still be Mexican, Latinx without like having to fully put a full sentence together in Spanish, or I don't have to put like tapatio on literally everything I eat, and like I can eat like a burrito with just fucking beans, cheese, and sour cream. Like I don't need to put everything in it. Like what I eat and like what I do isn't like how I express my culture. It's like how it's like I can express my culture in many different ways. It doesn't have to be through my food. It doesn't have to be through I talk. It can be through the way like I educate people. It can be through the way that I view certain political things or personal things. So I don't like when people base like culture off of one tiny aspect of a person when that's like at the end of the day it's kind of just like personal preference. Like not eating spicy food, that has nothing to do with my culture. It's just a personal preference.
Straight up, yeah. I can't even think of like an equivalence to like white people. Like what, like you don't put ketchup on your eggs. That makes you not white. Like I don't even know what it would be like. It makes me feel icky to invalidate half or all of us based off the fact that we don't eat certain foods or speak the language. Yeah, anything, because it's like, who is to say? Who the hell is to say that this is what makes you Mexican or this is what does this? Like, crazy. Sometimes Colombia is treated as a second Mexico. If you are Spanish, you must be Mexican. It mostly happened to me with white people that I think they never got out there and traveled. Yeah, exactly. If like a lot of people I've learned in the United States do not go anywhere, and if they go on vacation, it's to like Florida or some shit. Like they do not go outside of the United States, and so a lot of people just don't have interactions with a lot of other people, so they're just like, oh, all right, you speak Spanish, you must be Mexican.
Yeah, and I feel like people like especially like white people or just like anyone, like if they take like a vacation to like Mexico or any other like Latinx country or any side that, like if they go for like a week, they come back and try to like educate you or school you on like everything, and it's like I grew up in this culture. You went for a week, so
Yeah,
I
and you
don't
probably you went to like Cancun and stayed at a resort.
exactly. So it's like you don't know like the struggles of being a Latinx individual, and you don't know the history. And like, granted, like I don't know a lot about the history of my culture or like my family or like just the Latinx culture in general. But it's like I don't need to hear from you, Ashley, what you learned about your week at fucking Cancun. Okay.
When you said gracias to the waiter at your fucking dinner.
Yeah, and then suddenly they think they're just so fucking amazing in Spanish and everything Latinx, and I'm like, okay, sure.
So Danny Fry says my school studies were shit as well. I wish I had a better education when it came to Spanish in school. Hell yeah, so many like just having better teachers would have just done so much. The Momobella bitches who watch Cheater Girls One World trying to tell me how to wear a sari because they saw ladies wearing one Indian clothing.
That is so true. I think
That's
too.
just hilarious.
Let's to like go back to Danny's comment real quick. I feel like when like you ask people in like high school like, oh, what language are you taking, French or Spanish, and like 80% of the time you will hear people say Spanish. So I feel like with how much people are interested in the language, like I feel like they would do better. I'm not saying like they shouldn't put much effort in like any other language like French or German, but like if you see like a common pattern beside in your student body, like you should probably put more of an effort into making sure they like are able to walk out of the class able to hold a coherent conversation with someone in Spanish.
Oh yeah. People learn so much more Spanish just like working at a restaurant, working in the kitchen, and speaking to like the Spanish speakers back there than they do from school. Just because like you actually learn the shit that you need to say. You don't learn like como, like the all the grammar and stuff. Like all that stuff.
Say computer, and it's like
like and I have a big problem with Duolingo about that because it's like. It'll teach you like the apple is what the woman wants, and it's like when the fuck am I ever gonna say this sentence?
When the fuck am I ever gonna say that? And like to also like go back to Momo's thing too. Like I feel like just like movies and stuff like show one specific type of like a Latinx culture, or in Momo's case like someone through the Indian culture, and then like everyone will base the identity off of that one individual who starred in the movie, and then like everyone in reality is like. Either that's not an accurate representation or not every Latinx culture or Latinx person acts like that. And I hate that. I hate that
straight
so
up.
much.
Yeah, there are so many stereotypes that get reinforced. Who's the actress Sofia Vargas? Is that her name?
Vega?
Vargas? Something like
Sophia.
Yeah, so Sophia, and like I'm sure she's a very nice woman, but I feel like she plays into so many of those stereotypes of like the very spicy, very passionate, like Latin woman with an accent who's super like just like beautiful.
Yeah,
Sofia Vergara. There we go. Thank you,
Sundari-chan.
Plays into so many of those stereotypes.
I feel like she does because I actually just watched a Medea movie with my boyfriend last weekend, I think it was. And she was in that movie for like 20 minutes, and she was kind of playing like a ditzy Latinx person, but then they also like made her to be a Latinx woman who like killed a bunch of men, which like granted like woohoo, go her. But I kind of felt like I don't know, I kind of feel like people see like Latinx women like as these people who like when they get angry or hurt someone, like they will do it in like a large amount. For some reason, I like that's a stereotype that I feel like I've seen. So like I feel like she played into that, and obviously they always make her like have like a thick accent, thicker than like her accent already is, and it's just like that's not us. Like please stop feeding into this stereotype. And I was actually just in a theater course in my undergrad. That just made me sad. Anyway,
how time flies,
and how time fucking flies. And we were talking about. Just like Latinx stereotypes that's like immersed in films and media, and we're always seen as like the bad guy, or if there is a Latinx person who is a good person, like they will not even get as much like screen time as the white person who is a good person. And fun fact, like when it comes to like Latinx, we will always be shown it in like a darker lighting than a white person.
That's interesting.
And like if there's a white person in the scene and a Latinx person in the scene, like they'll have it to where the Latinx person will be like at a lower level than the white person, or even have the camera angle like at a different angle to give more like the white person the more screen time. And I get it. Like if they're the main character, if the white person's the main character and you have supporting characters, I totally get it. But
The screen
like
time discrepancy.
at the same time, please don't spark stereotypes about my culture, because then it's harder for me to live my life, because then people are going to expect me to act a certain way. And especially when they like have Latinx people just be like the worker or the maid or the person doing yard work around the fucking house. And like, granted, we are hardworking, we get the shit done, don't get me wrong.
Hell the fuck
But
yeah.
like that doesn't define who we are, and it's just it makes me so angry.
That's a quotable right there. That's a snippet for Instagram and Twitter tomorrow. That was beautiful. That was amazingly well said. It's Hoopy. I have no culture. I'm just a white, boring hillbilly. No, Hoopy, I'm sure you have plenty of culture.
No,
where are you from, is Hoopy?
That's my boyfriend. Don't listen to him.
I've never heard somebody like willingly call themselves a hillbilly, but Tsundere-chan, she definitely does, and she sometimes gives a truly bad impression of Colombian women and in general Latin women. Yeah, and me and Tsundere-chan have this discussion a lot of times where so when she moved to this country, a lot of people, what they thought was, oh, you're Colombian, so that must mean like you're a super sexual, super passionate, like you're supposed to have like this this body that they all picture Colombian women to have. And it's designed a lot by media and what we're like fed in the descriptions that they give. And it really does suck that they do that. I think that they're trying to do a little bit better when it comes to representation. Have you seen that show Q-Force on Netflix? That's I think it's like the gay superheroes.
Period.
So it's cool, but at the same time, like I saw people criticizing it online, saying like it just feeds into like these stereotypes about gay people being super sexual.
No, for sure. And like to go back to like the body image stereotype you noticed you brought up, I feel like bringing in those stereotypes, bring in Latinx stereotypes, and you mix it with others, you're just creating more negative images. Like Sophia with like, you know, like a body of like just like a skinny legend, and now every Colombian woman has to look like that. Or like a woman always has to be like submissive to her husband or something like that. I just feel like for Latinx, they combine so many gender stereotypes, sexuality stereotypes, any other stereotypes with our culture, and then just create this false image, and then it just creates so many negative consequences for Latinx people in real life. Yeah.
And I want to be clear too, it's not like just Hollywood and white media. So next week I'm going to be doing I don't know if you ever saw Sábado Gigante. It's like a very popular show in like Latin households. Like a lot of like my grandma used to watch that shit every single Saturday, and it would be like game show stuff. So like, you know, they would have the hostess come up who's doing the game show, and she's wearing like a skin tight dress, and she has like a huge butt, and she's like, oh, and like it's just super sexualized. So it happens as well in Latin media. Like they do it to themselves.
It does, because in that theater class I was talking about, like there were films made by Latinx people who will feed into that stereotype of these like Latinx women have to be sensual and sexy and like have to be submissive. And granted, like there's nothing wrong with like feeling like sexually confident in yourself, but don't make the sexual confidence turn into a stereotype and turn into Latinx women only being seen as a sex toy. Like let people be sexual confident without pushing a horrible stereotype onto them.
Yeah, straight up. Hey, what's up, Mux? Thank you for coming through. Thank you. This conversation is big fuego right now. Tsundere-chan says social media and telenovelas. The telenovelas are so fucking crazy. It's just so dramatic.
They're so dramatic, and it's granted they are feeding to a lot of stereotypes, but they're just so hilarious how dramatic they were. Like I saw a clip on them, and it was like this woman who like did a tiny like trip on the street, and then she like hit a car, like rolled down the car door, hit her head on the window, and then died. And I was like,
Jesus.
what the fuck just happened? She tripped a tiny bit, and now she's dead. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, they're so dramatic, and I don't know what it is. I don't get why they get these like actors and actresses that are just like, whoa, my God, oh, you betrayed me again, and it's just so fucking crazy. Fucking tweet on the sexualization topic. Mobile Bella, I'm so glad you came back. Thank you. Mux was about to say, what an interesting conversation to join. Yes, it's been so amazing. And it's dope. Please do make sure to go check out Nate. I'm trying to shout you out, but since you didn't type in the chat, it's like not coming up.
Oh, here, I'll type in the chat right now. I'll just type the word type. I'll type the word type just to help. Hold on.
Yes.
Type. There we go.
How did you choose your Twitch name, by the way? Is it just
Yeah, thanks for that. So my last name's Padilla. Please no one say Padilla. It pisses me off so much. Because people don't understand that the two L's make a Y sound. It's a different conversation. But my last name's Padilla, and whenever my sister made any sort of social media platform, she'd always just put it as Dilluh, because people would say Padilla. So she kind of just fed off of that with Dilluh. And when I wanted to make social media, she just put my name in front of Dilluh because I'm her sibling. So like Nate Dilluh, the sibling of Dilluh. So it's like a little fun like story. Like people like make our last name a joke, but like in a way that kind of like helped us be a memorable force on the internet. So that's kind of like a sweet, funny little story on how like Nate Dilluh came to be.
That's awesome, man. That's so fucking cool. Do you think in the future you'll ever go back to doing like YouTube like content? So like, what is your plans with Twitch? What is your hopes? What do you want out of this?
So honestly, being where I'm at right now with Twitch. Hi Vicky, I just saw her type into chat.
Hey, Nate Bessie, what's up, Vicky? Welcome, Danny. I'm having such a good time watching y'all. Thank y'all so much. I'm having a blast, and I knew that this conversation was gonna be great. I knew this conversation was gonna be good.
But to answer your question, there's just so many more goals that I planned out for myself than like I never thought would be possible. Like almost hitting 400 followers, like that's fucking insane. But like I've already accomplished some goals, like so hitting like 100 followers, that was one of my goals already off the board. I'm like less than 150 followers away from like half of 1,000 followers. That's another one of my goals. So like what the fuck. Another one of my goals that I want to accomplish that I already did was make merch, which is like so weird to say that like I have merch, but from like my upcoming Twitch journey, I really want to be a partner. At starting streaming, it's just like now like that's something I want to do, and in the future I hope I can do streaming full time. Like after I graduate masters, like again put more focus on the streaming and like work like whatever job I have in the future from like 8 to 5, and then from like 9 to like 12 like stream. So like have the best of both worlds, like you use my masters to get a great job that I want, and then when I come home, get on this platform and do what I love so much. And that's where I want to be. I want to be a partner. And fun fact, I want to be the first non-binary character in Dead by Daylight. So that's another reason I want to get big on Twitch, so I can do that.
Wait, have they made streamers into characters?
They don't, but I want to be the first one.
But they'll make you. That would be beautiful. That would be beautiful.
Great. And when it comes to like YouTube, if I do get back into it, it wouldn't be until after I graduate, because I don't have like the platform. But by platform I mean like the shit I would need in front of me now. But I do want to get back into it, but more focus on like a gaming aspect of it rather than like fun skits and things like that. So there's like a lot of goals. My main goals are hopefully to get back into YouTube and gaming, make more merch, have more followers, and then overall just like be a partner on Twitch, because once I hit that, I will feel like I made it, and I would feel so fucking accomplished.
Hey, I think you do very well with the just chatting section as well. Like you do very, very well when it just comes to like speaking to the community.
Thank you.
So I think a lot of your YouTube stuff could be like that as well.
Yeah, I'm hoping. We'll see. We'll see. I told a lot of people too, like if I ever become partner, then I will be a full-time streamer, because like that's when I know like, oh shit, this is a real thing. I should put more effort into it than I already am.
Yes, definitely.
So
and you're well on your way.
Thank you.
Well on your way. Going on audio so I can drive. Ooh woo. Thank you, Mobile Bella, for still listening. It's Hoopy. Phone's on 3. Got a dip, but I hope the rest of the stream is great. I love you. Hey, thank you so much for coming. It's Hoopy. Hey. Mugs, Dead by Daylight. Hey, yes. I want to play more of that. I honestly, I downloaded that game and then never really really played it too much. I would love to play with you tonight.
Yes, of course.
Pretty handy that you can convert the Twitch content into YouTube content. Yeah, it's super handy because then like you got to just make so much content nowadays. Like that's the problem I always run into is like, oh, I got to, edit something from this 4-hour VOD that a lot of people might not watch.
And like I have like a lot of like YouTube Dead by Daylight videos in mind, but I just don't have the time to like just sit down and make it happen. And the minute I get that time, I know I'm just gonna get right into it. Cause like I never saw myself as like this gaming, I don't want to say extraordinaire, but like just this gaming member amongst Twitch. But now that I'm in this community and like have my own community built out of it and met so many amazing people, I don't want to stop and I don't want to let go just yet. Like I want to see how far I can take this.
Hey, that's beautiful. Oh my God. I love. My favorite thing is when guests come on here and they just give me the easy quotables that I could just snip tomorrow and I could just post that on Twitter and Instagram. I love it when they come through with the beautiful quotes. Thank you so much, Nate. Please let everybody know where they can find you, where they can speak to you, speak more to you if they want to join the Discord and all that. Then I would also love to play Dead by Daylight with you if you still have more time after this.
I would love to play some Dead by Daylight with you.
Hey.
So let's teach you the ropes. But if y'all want to find me, just go to my Twitch. It's just Nate Dilluh, NateDilluh, as it says on the little screen right there. And then you can find my Instagram, my Twitter, my TikTok, all in the description of my Twitch box. And you can also look at my merch if you want to look at that as well. We have some fire designs, so you should definitely check that out.
Hey, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Everybody, please do make sure to go check out Nate. Nate is fucking dope. Came through with the great quotables. Thank you so much.
Yeah.